Welcome back to my third video in this series where NAD Plus makes you younger, literally makes you younger. So we're talking about all the different uses of NAD Plus, the purposes, and eventually we'll get to the treatment in video 5. So without further ado, let's jump into why NAD Plus makes you younger. But first, my disclaimer is NAD Plus is quite complicated, so we're going to go over it. We're going to try to make it as simple as possible, but unfortunately this is quite complicated, so if I oversimplify it, I apologize. Once again, my name is Philip Oob. I'm a doctor in Austin, Texas at a functional medicine practice. My practice is called Oob Medical. Let's dive in. So the easiest way to show all of the things NAD Plus does to make us younger is to talk about the sirtuins. So sirtuins, kind of a fancy word. Sirtuins are a hormone. You may not have ever heard of it. A lot of people think of hormones as thyroid and testosterone and estrogen and never realize how many other hormones we have in the body. We have tons and tons of hormones. Sirtuins are a hormone. There's multiple sirtuins, and I'm not even going to pretend to remember all of them, but basically on this diagram there's 1 through 7, so I know there's at least 7 of them. The purpose of this diagram is not for me to read to you all of the things that sirtuins do, but suffice it to say that sirtuins do a lot of stuff. They cause brain cell growth and regeneration, improve memory, immune system. They create more immune cells. They advance the mitochondria. Anyway, all kinds of stuff that the NAD Plus does. So by doing these things, by stimulating the sirtuins, that specifically makes you younger. Sirtuins make us younger. The other way NAD Plus makes us younger is by stabilizing the P53 molecule. Now, you may not know what P53 is, and you really don't need to know what P53 is, but for the purpose of this, to understand what NAD Plus does is NAD Plus stabilizes P53. The reason why P53 is important is because it's responsible for both cell death and the cells going to sleep, and think of cells going to sleep as just aging. As your cells fall asleep, you get more tired and sluggish, and you stop regenerating and having energy, basically. And also, P53 is frequently in the cancer world mutated and runs rampant and allows cancer to be produced. So NAD Plus stabilizes P53, which suggests it could reduce cancer, but I don't think anyone has that data yet. P53 basically is responsible for keeping the cycle going, the cell cycle going. The cell has a growth phase, a regeneration phase. It also has a death phase. So by stabilizing it, NAD Plus decreases the senescent cells. Senescent just means sleepy. So it prevents the cell from going into the sleepy phase. NAD Plus also stimulates the DNA repair, which tells P53 that everything's fine, keep growing the cell, and it prevents unnecessary cell death, basically. That's about as simple as I can make P53. Another way to look at it is NAD Plus stimulates Sir2P, which is just another sirtuin, and it stabilizes P53. And in this very simple diagram that I like, stimulates the lifespan, increases our lifespan, which I just read an article this morning. As of 2022, our lifespan has now decreased another 3 years in America. So an average American born in 2021 can expect to live to 76. It used to be 81, 82 just a few years ago, and so our lifespan is decreasing. NAD Plus is one of the ways to regain that. If you can see, NADH still exists. If you don't know what NADH is, you need to go back and watch my previous video. Both are necessary, but in this video series, we're specifically talking about the benefits of NAD Plus. This is another complicated diagram to show where NAD Plus works and how it works everywhere. And so there's an NAD Plus green molecule there. It's stimulating a SIRT1 molecule, which is stimulating P53 and all kinds of beneficial stuff. Over here, SIRT3 stimulating a whole bunch of antioxidant and different peptides, as well as over here stimulating more anti-aging things. So needless to say, NAD Plus stimulates all kinds of anti-aging hormones. Sirtuins work all over the body and cause a cascade of benefits. They're mentioning resveratrol, fasting, which I'm a big fan of fasting, prolonged fasting, and exercise as stimulating the production of AMPK, which eventually turns into NAD+. So that goes back to my first video where we talked about the creation of NAD+. You can make NAD+ on your own with appropriate diet, exercise, and fasting, which sounds backwards. This is a section I like to talk about how NAD Plus is a self-fulfilling prophecy. It sounds kind of backwards, but as you generate NAD Plus, it stimulates the production of sirtuins, and sirtuins stimulates the production of this molecule called NAMPT, which stimulates more NAD+, which stimulates more sirtuins, which stimulates more more NAD plus, and so it's a cycle. So this is how aging happens, because as NAD plus depletes, sirtuins stop getting stimulated, which means the production stops getting stimulated. In addition, and I believe I have another diagram of it, NADH, as it climbs, it actually suppresses sirtuins, which worsens the situation. So this is why getting out of the cycle of NAD plus getting depleted is beneficial for anti-aging and feeling better. Here's the diagram where it talks about, there's NADH, and I don't want to demonize NADH. NADH is not bad, but NADH is suppressing sirtuins from being released. It's saying we don't have enough NAD plus, so you need to slow down. So in this diagram, when NAD plus is high, it's stimulating sirtuins, which are then stimulating the production of more NAD plus, which stimulates more sirtuins back again. But I like this diagram because it shows very simply what happens with NAD depletion. So as NAD plus depletes, there are other proteins and chemical reactions that are burning up the NAD plus. As it burns up the NAD plus, we start aging and having DNA damage that we can't repair, and that causes more aging and then sluggishness and everything else that goes with it. So that's how NAD plus causes anti-aging, as well as depletion causes aging. Same thing, just pointed out in a different way. This is NAD recycling, but same idea. There's NAD plus stimulating the sirtuins, and then the production of NAD plus again. You can see how it's all wrapped in one with sirtuins. So that's about as simple as I can make NAD plus and anti-aging. Now we're going to get into some of the additional benefits that NAD plus has, and there are a few smaller benefits that I want to at least pay homage to and give credit to. So that's going to be in my next video. If you like this video series, or if you like my channel in general, make sure to subscribe, leave me a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.